Hi, my name's Rob. I am a part of the Dunghutti people of northern New South Wales. My father is a Dunghutti elder and a proud Dunghutti man. I've been an Aboriginal caseworker for 20 years and loving it. Grew up in the Aboriginal community, grew up with an extended family, and proud to be very much a part of that community today. When it comes to literacy and language and some of the challenges that are faced by Aboriginal young people, the impact of past policies and treatment of Aboriginal peoples creates some huge barriers in learning. Having that sense of lost identity, not knowing who you are, feeling embarrassed about just being Aboriginal has a huge impact on a young person's learning and the ability to do that. That sense of not being good enough, I think, is still very much there. Working with young people, a lot of that's masked with anger or maybe too cool to have a go. But I think when you dig a bit under the surface, there is that real sense of not feeling good enough. Maybe that self-esteem, those issues, have a huge impact on someone's learning. And I think they need to be taken into consideration when working with Aboriginal students. Also acknowledging learning styles and being Aboriginal, I know that oral tradition is huge and many stories are passed down orally through elders to young people. I know myself growing up, that was a big part of our education, and hearing my grandparents talk about their upbringing and some of the stories which are special to our family. We're not writers, and even I today, as a professional caseworker, still have issues with writing. I'm not comfortable with it. I'd much rather sit down, talk, tell stories, and I don't think that's changed a lot. And that's not wanting to sound, putting Aboriginal young people into a box or sounding, stereotyping them. But I think that those factors need to be considered when teaching and engaging young people that, to stick a pen and a piece of paper in front of them is not always the best way. And so learning styles need to be considered, and teachers need to prepare and have that in mind when they're putting a lesson together. And I think that's really important. My dad is part of the Dunghutti people of northern New South Wales, but my mum is German, thus the blonde hair and the blue eyes, but I grew up in the Aboriginal community. I know that for myself, while I was at school, we learned a lot about European history. I probably learnt more about Germany and Europe and England and all of those things than I ever did about Aboriginal history. And it wasn't until I was much older and went to university and actually started to hear about Aboriginal history. And so for myself as a student coming through, it was never really spoken about. Or if it was, we were never given access to it. And I think that that's critical today, that our young people get taught that very early, about the history, about the impact of European settlement, looking even further back to their roots, their stories, their families, and knowing where they're from. I think that would go a long way to improving education standards for young people today.